Don't write down this. Okay, don't write down this right now. You don't need to. Later, you need to, but right now you don't need to. Okay. So just write down the word culture, and then below it, skip a little bit of space, right? And then just write down the word society. Okay. Um, and I'll just what I'll do is I'll go through a couple slides. I'll talk a little bit and look for your responses on the Google Chat thing, and then that's it. That's how we'll do lecture notes. Okay, it'll be like painless. Hopefully, it'll be painless. All right. Okay, so culture. Right, we're talking about culture. You guys probably know what culture is without me telling you. Okay, most people know what culture is. Culture is it's like it's kind of like a group that has something in common. Whether it's their background, it could be where they live, it could be their race, it could be anything where they share beliefs, values, and things that they do. Okay, and then a society is people who live within a culture, right? Pretty straightforward. Okay? Don't write these down because these aren't blue. Okay, these aren't blue. These aren't boldface. But you guys look at if you ride the subway. This is in Japan. This looks really uncomfortable. I don't know if you guys can see the picture of how crowded people are. Right? But for their culture, this is pretty normal. Okay, this is a part of like everyday life. Riding the subway, not driving a car. Other cultures, bikes. Many more people have bikes than cars, right? But that looks not fun at all, right? I would hate to have to ride a subway. I'd hate to have to ride a subway every day, but it'd be better than riding a car or driving a car in some ways, and in other ways it'd be worse than driving a car. Does anybody know someone or related to somebody that takes the Metrolink? Anybody take the Metrolink to LA for work? Yeah. Kyla, okay, now does your dad do it every day?
Yeah, his work is in Anaheim.
Is in where?
It's in Anaheim.
Anaheim, yeah. So he rides the Metrolink. Does he like it?
Yeah, he likes it, but sometimes it shuts down. It's been shutting down a lot.
Right. What about okay, Nyla or Deb? I see Deb says your dad used to. Nyla, did you like it? Did you like riding it?
Not really.
What didn't you like about it?
It was just, I don't know. It was kind of crowded at the time, so I didn't really like being around people like that. But
Right,
I'm like
right.
bad.
Was it this crowded?
No, it wasn't that crowded. I wouldn't have
You,
gotten on.
you did have people like touching you, right?
Yes.
Because this looks like people are touching each other, and that could probably get kind of uncomfortable and awkward, right? So, but you guys, this is a part of their everyday life. Okay, it's I don't know. Yeah, Nathaniel did it. Now, New York City, it's a little bit different because they're all underground. Like the Metrolink is basically like a train, but New York City, guys, they, for them, it's a way of life. Plus, how'd you like to live like on the 40th floor of some building? Not everybody lives 40 floors high or 100 floors high, but a lot of people live in those real tall, high-rise buildings or apartment buildings, and it's like, that's good and bad. But they're trying to fit so many people into a little space. There's nowhere to go but up, right? David said, "Don't look out the window." Good advice. Really good advice. Okay, here's another one. Okay, so just write down this one, guys. Just write down cultural relativism, right? But it's kind of what we're starting to see with not starting to see. It's what we've seen for a long time, but it's just kind of starting to become more and more relevant. You guys, I don't know if you know this about the United States of America, but a lot of people have an opinion about our culture and they think it's better than any other culture, right? And there's a term for that. Okay, there's a term for that. It's coming up on the next slide. But you know, a lot of people they've done studies that show like kids in kindergarten, they think that their school is the best school in the whole city, no matter if it is a new school and old school. They think that their school is the best, right? Norhan said he almost got hit by the train. I think he meant train. But Norhan, tell us about it. What happened? Does Norhan's microphone work? No. Oh, okay. Okay. So he can't. Okay. Yeah. So he almost got hit by a train. I'm glad you didn't, Norhan. That sounds awful. Trains usually win, right? Okay. So now while he's typing, I think he's typing something. You guys, here's what I was talking about. Okay. I don't know if you've ever heard the term xenophobia. Okay. So again, here's some more terms. My friend and I were on the track. Yeah. That'll do it. That's where the trains are, and you got to be careful. I've almost got hit by a train too. I had a car stall on a train track one time. It was not good, and the train was coming, but it was far away. Yeah, train tracks are sketchy, right? But you got a fun time though, I hope. Okay, now xenophobia. Okay, xenophobia, guys, is basically it's when people are afraid of other cultures. Okay, and it's not just in the United States. It can happen anywhere, but it happens a lot in the United States, right? And this is kind of like what we're dealing with right now in this election and with social media, because social media allows everybody's opinion to instantly be available, right? Because in the days before social media, this existed, ethnocentrism, thinking that your culture is superior, right? And I'm sorry, xenocentrism, thinking that your culture is superior. This stuff has been around for a while. It's not new. The only thing that's new now is how quickly ideas, good and bad ideas, can be shared, right? Because we've been, in the United States, you guys, for a long time, people think that, our culture is better than other cultures. And so when somebody moves here with another cultural background, you see sometimes different states will pass a law that says you can't have a business with advertisements. They have to be in English. They can't be in another language, right? Um, and that's you guys. It's both. That is both good and bad. It helps business, but at the same time, it denies the person's culture, right? So, when we're talking about culture, we're talking about usually other parts of the world, but even within our own culture, there are smaller groups, and we'll get to that in a second. Okay. Okay. Now, you guys, you could have told me what these are without me telling you the definition. Okay. You could have told me what values are. Values are just kind of like your sense of right and wrong. Okay. What's good? What's acceptable? What's okay? Beliefs is kind of like what most people in a society think. Um, Diego, that's okay, totally okay. Go for it. Yeah. If you guys are ever having a bad connection, like Diego, he just said he's gonna leave and then come back. Yeah, you guys, it's totally okay. You don't have to. You don't even have to tell me. Just go for it. Okay. Um, but beliefs are what most people think. Okay. Now, there are some things that everybody in the society believes that we got to follow. Usually they're called laws, right? Okay, don't write these ones. These aren't blue. These aren't underlined. Don't write this. But norms, okay? Just write down norms, right? Norms are kind of like what's expected of members of a society, okay? You guys, you know that little icon where you go like this, thumbs up? Click on that icon if you drive. If you drive a car or if you have a driver's license, give me a thumbs up if you drive. I just want to see how many people drive. Anybody have that, this one, you know, the thumbs up thing? Good, yeah, cool. Perla, okay, now. JD can't park to save her life. JD, I've been driving for almost 30 years and I still can't park. That's okay. JD, you know how many times I've hit the curb in the past month? Like 11 million, whatever number that is. Okay, now let me ask you a question. If you drive, tell me if you've gotten a ticket. Okay, raise your hand if you've gotten a ticket. Okay, now Diego asked a different question. Diego, we'll get to that question maybe later, but let's don't use the chat box to ask questions, because then what happens is everybody starts answering that question. Okay, let's take it kind of slow, but tell me if you've been in anybody gotten a ticket? My grandma took my keys. That's good. Anybody ever gotten a ticket, a speeding ticket, or running a stop sign? Okay, how about Diego? Diego, does your mic work? Does your microphone work?
Yeah.
Tell us about it, and then I'll tell you about my tickets.
All right. So I got one ticket my entire life, and it was for having an expired plate, and I got pulled over for it.
The little sticker, just a little sticker.
I had gotten expired plates.
Yeah.
A little,
Right. Has anybody ever done what's called a California roll? California roll is the name of sushi, right? But a California roll is when you come to a red stop sign and you don't exactly come to a complete stop. I got one of those about 2 years ago. And my daughter, who was at the time, I think she was 14 or 15, she was in the driver's seat. I mean, the passenger seat, driver's seat. She'd be driving if she was in the driver's seat. No, she was in the passenger seat. And she goes, she said, "Dad, why didn't you stop?" And I said, I don't know. Because I wasn't paying attention. The real answer, or the honest answer, is I wasn't paying attention and I got a ticket, and it was awful because they're expensive. Because they're really expensive. Speeding tickets are expensive too. But I'm just asking you guys about what's called a norm. Okay, the norm of society is that we're supposed to drive a certain way. And even though not everybody does, I don't. Guys, I don't know anybody that drives a speed limit on the freeway, because it actually, if you're driving the speed limit, it's actually more dangerous than driving a little bit faster than you should. But, that's just one of the things that's like accepted behavior. That's what this is. Okay, that's what norms are. Okay, we're almost done. Oh, you guys, everything for this class, for sociology, I get it from other classes, or I steal it from other places. And I stole this Google Slides presentation from a college professor. Okay, college professor, he's the one that put together this presentation. And he chose, for some reason, this picture for these terms. Don't write these terms down because they're not blue, right? But like when I was younger, when I was a newer teacher, I'd see something like this that I didn't know like what was going on, and I'd erase it like right away. I'm like, man, I hope the kids don't see that. I don't want them to see a picture that I don't know what's going on, or I'll be embarrassed. But now that I'm older, I leave stuff like that. I leave it in there because I want to see people's reactions, right? The caption says, social control is a way to encourage people to obey the norms or obey the laws. But there's a picture of two, what appears to be soldiers walking, holding hands. Okay, now, I don't know anything about the context of this picture. Somebody in my first period class who saw the same picture said that maybe they're good friends, right? Maybe they're just good friends and they're just walking. Another person said maybe they are like it's some sort of custom in that culture or in that country. I don't know. I don't know the answer, right? But I just wanted to show you guys, you know, I used to like censor these things when I steal them from other teachers or other professors, but now not anymore. I just leave them in there because I want you guys to see them, right? I have no idea what's going on though, right? Okay, we're almost done. We're almost there. Okay, language, right? Language is kind of important. So you guys, you know, language is just ways to communicate. Okay, and then symbols, obviously symbols, and you know the things that help us to communicate, like signs, right? There's sometimes that they can teach primates. Okay, primates are like gorillas, chimpanzees, even rhesus monkeys. Rhesus monkeys are like the smaller monkeys, but you guys, they've taught, especially gorillas, because they're really smart. They've taught gorillas how to use simple sign language, right? So there's been a couple different gorillas actually. They can ask for things. They can say Coco. Coco was the name of one with a K. It was Koko. But Coco was a gorilla they taught like over, I think it was over 40 different words, right? And Coco he would ask for a banana when he was hungry. He would ask if he could go swimming, right? You know, pretty cool stuff. But it's kind of like language, but it's not exactly language, right? Okay. Nathaniel said Planet of the Apes right there. No, because Planet of the Apes is different. Coco's an actual ape, but Planet of the Apes is a movie where people are like half human and half apes. That's different, right? Okay, so I think we're good on this one. We're almost done. There's only two more, I promise. Okay, we're almost finished. Okay, so I'm going to turn it. Can I turn this one? Everybody okay? All right. Okay, don't write down this one, but just write down popular culture, okay? And you guys know what pop culture is. Pop culture is kind of like what's going on all around us, right? What's going on in popular culture is, you know, it depends on who you ask, right? But like a good example of popular culture is sports, okay? Professional sports, especially in our country, is a huge part of pop culture, okay? Huge part of it. Music is a big part of pop culture. You know, there's all kinds of different subsets that represent pop culture. Okay, so just write down popular or pop culture. But there is also what are called subcultures. Okay, subcultures are like little groups, not so little sometimes. Sometimes they're huge groups. But you guys, they're just people that share some sort of like identity. Okay, they share some sort of like something in common, right? Every once in a while, you're driving around and you see people get together that have like custom cars. You know, they've rebuilt like old cars or vintage cars. You know, a vintage car club. That's a subculture, right? And then countercultures is the last one. Countercultures is those are things that are groups that go against what society's widely accepted cultural patterns are. Rock music, okay, rock music, rap, sometimes is considered to be part of a counterculture. Okay, Okay. So far, so good. Everybody okay? Everybody good? All right. Okay, so remember, guys, like all you have to do is when we're doing this is just write down the stuff that's in the boldface and the blue. Okay, don't write down the big definitions because that'll take forever. You don't need to do that now, but like later. Okay, just do it later. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna close that, and I'm gonna go here and hope that this works because I wanted to show you guys a little bit more of what we started on Monday. Okay, remember we started on Monday. We started the human faces questions. Okay, which look like this. Okay, so the part that I'm going to show you today hopefully answers these two. Okay, number 3 and number 4. All right. Okay, so symmetrical. What is symmetrical? Anybody know what symmetrical means? Why do symmetrical ears, or what do symmetrical ears have to do with athletic ability? What is symmetry, or what does symmetrical mean for your body? Anybody know? That's okay. Okay, so symmetry means exactly similar parts facing each other. Good. Nathaniel, that's awesome. Yeah, Christina got it. Yeah, David and Christina, you guys got it. David, yeah, good job. So you guys, you might be kind of surprised, but they're going to tell us in this video that people that have symmetrical faces, like both ears are exactly the same size, both eyeballs are exactly the same, most of the time they're judged to be more attractive. Not always, okay, but let's take a look. Okay, let me see if I can find it. First of all, let me see if this even works, because I don't know if it's going to work. My fingers are crossed, but they've been crossed a lot lately, relying on technology.
Most of the important things that happen to human beings happened during our remote.
Forges more blood in the lips, so they actually get a darker color.
You read Desmond Morris on that, didn't you?
Yeah, some of it.
Athletic ability.
Okay.
The face tells us about that.
The link which ties athletic ability to beauty in Professor Manning's research is symmetry.
68.77.
Whether the two sides of your face are the same or very different seems to affect your running ability.
And it's actually a 67.62. So pretty symmetrical. Runners with asymmetric ears run more slowly than runners with symmetric ears.
So what's going on here? Well, people with symmetrical bodies find it easier to run faster, and having more symmetrical ears is a sign you've got a more symmetrical body.
This is amazing when you think about it, because these asymmetries are very, very small. They're of the order of a millimeter or so. But we seem to be able to perceive them, and people rate symmetric faces as being more attractive than asymmetric faces.
Do you agree? How do you prefer me? Normal like this, or symmetrical like this? And what's the big thing about symmetry? Well, it all begins in the womb. We all start off looking like aliens, but we're programmed to grow symmetrically. So, if all goes well, we turn into pretty symmetrical adults. But things can go wrong.
Now, obviously, a symmetrical face is typically a healthy face. But if you have a parasitic infection, or if you have congenital malformation of some kind that's distorted your face, it's going to produce an asymmetry. And when you detect something asymmetrical, it's no longer attractive. You don't want to mate with it.
What neurologist Dr. Ramachandran is saying is that if you're unfortunate enough to have been infested with a parasite, such as a tapeworm, and it's residing inside you when you're growing up, And this will affect not only your bodily health, but also your face.
If you have a parasitic infection, you may not be very fertile. For all of these reasons, it's best to avoid an asymmetrical face. And this may be one reason why you have this repulsion. So you recoil from anything that's deformed, asymmetrical, distorted.
Because it could be dangerous.
Because it could be dangerous.
In a more primitive sense, the face advertises health. Okay, any doctor will tell you one of the first things they teach you in medical school is to look at the face.
In Stephen Marquardt's study, the faces ranked good-looking were more symmetrical. The less attractive faces were less symmetrical. And the grossly asymmetric induced a feeling almost of repulsion. It's this innate reaction to faces that Hollywood has exploited.
You'll have the clear-complected individual as the hero. And then any skin defect can be used by filmmakers to identify to audiences, watch out for this one. So that skin really becomes a reflection not just of health, but of moral content.
I'm so unhappy. My stepmother and sister are going to the ball without me. I do wish I could go too.
And so is now.
Who are you?
I'm your fairy godmother, dear. I've got a heart of gold.
I don't trust you. You're hideous.
This is facial fascism. Poor woman.
It's true that people with bad skin are not evil. I mean, you and I both know that rationally. But they have done studies to show that if they would take subjects and have them interact with someone who is clear complected or interact with someone, say, with acne scars or a large scar, that there was more hesitation, there was more concern, more fear associated with the people that did not have normal skin or good skin.
Henry de Lobelia has facial cancer. He knows what it's like to be stared at and judged by others. But he's very philosophical about the way he looks, and he's not upset by the honest reaction of children.
I find it extremely entertaining talking to a 5-year-old about why I've only got one eye, or look slightly odd. And I've always been impressed by the simple way that the 5-year-old is just interested and enjoys a conversation on the bus with a complete stranger about what it's like to have only one eye.
This is Henry at 21, when he was studying to become a lawyer. And he's still working.
If I went in some absolutely extreme state, then it might be different. But certainly, having an eye removed, having the shape looking a bit odd, losing all the nerves and muscles in the left-hand side of my face, so that when I smile in a happy way, as I understand it, the right-hand side of my face moves, and the left hand doesn't move a bit. It simply, for some reason, doesn't worry me.
Henry was 42 when he first discovered that he had a rare facial cancer. It started under his left eye and gradually progressed. Henry's proud to have a family who supported him through all his surgery.
I mean, my wife and children don't appear to pay any attention to what I look like. They don't get worried. They don't express relief that I'm not too bad. And I think that helps me as the patient enormously, because I'm not being reminded of it. I don't have people sympathizing. I don't have people saying I wish they'd done a better job. And that leaves me just being me.
So what is beauty, and what if I told you that you could measure it?
The human face.
What Pythagoras realized is that plants and animals grow according to fairly precise mathematical laws. It's not just chance that flowers unfold in beautiful patterns. And the Greeks found the patterns were based on a particular geometrical ratio. But it wasn't until the Renaissance that an Italian did the math. He figured out that the key to beauty was the ratio of 1 to 1.618.
He claimed not only to quantify or to understand the secret or the code of beauty, he claimed to see beauty in the universe. That's a pretty big statement. I'm looking for beauty in the face. He says he found it for the universe. That's pretty amazing.
Grazie. Oh, Miss Linguini, wait. Take your glasses off. Now let your hair come tumbling down. Miss Linguini, you're beautiful. And you're not going to believe this, 1.618 actually works. Do something like measure the distance from the floor to your navel, and then from your navel to your head. If you're well proportioned, the ratio should be 1 to 1.618, and that ratio is seen all over the beautiful body.
People started noticing it. Artists noticed it. The width of the mouth in a beautiful face, for example.
Yeah.
Not in any face, but it had to be beautiful. If a face was beautiful, the width of the mouth was exactly 1.618 times the width of the nose. If the face wasn't beautiful, that wasn't the case. Dentists, in their dental work, noticed that the upper front tooth was 1.618 times as wide as the next tooth over, the lateral incisor. So the central incisor was 1.618 times the width of the lateral incisor, the next tooth over.
Wonderful. Give me some more examples.
Your fingers, your fingers are each called phalanges, and each bone of the finger is called a phalanx. And the phalanx that's the closest to your knuckle here is 1.618 times the phalanx that's in the middle, and that's 1.618 times the length of the phalanx at the end, which is your fingernail. So that was kind of amazing. This number would come up over and over again.
Now, remember
Okay, so guys, what was the answer to that question? What's the formula for, oh, sorry, here it is. Right here. Okay, the mathematical formula for, and be honest, how many people went like this and looked at their finger when he said that, right? What he's saying is this part of your finger from here to this knuckle should be 1.618 as big as this part, okay? So it says, number 3, it says, what do symmetrical ears have to do with athletic ability or beauty? So what's the answer to that one? What do we think? Yeah, you guys got it. You guys got the number. Good job. Good job. Yeah, it's 1. David got it. David Marchetro got it. What about this one though? What is symmetrical ears? Yeah, good. Look at Nathaniel. Good. Nathaniel, you guys, if you want to copy Nathaniel's answer, that's a really good answer. Right there. Boom. Nathaniel just did number 3 for us. Good job, Nathaniel. Okay, and then number 4 is David. Okay, David, right here. A couple other people got it. That's the answer to number 4. Okay, that your body is proportioned at a ratio of 1 to 1.618. Like your teeth, right? The big tooth is 1.618 as wide as the tooth next to it. Okay. From your navel to the floor, and then from your navel to the top of your head, 1.618. Blah 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 blah. Like on and on and on. Okay. Now, here's the real question, you guys. The real question is, Nyla said copy and paste it. Heck yeah, I would too. Right? Just do that. Okay, but here's the real question. Do you guys agree with that explanation? Do you think that that's an accurate explanation of beauty, or are there people that are attractive or beautiful that don't fit that ratio? Okay, and whatever you say is pretty much the right answer because it's your opinion, right? Okay, so you don't have to put yes or no. put the one that you think for number 5. Okay. Okay, and then after you answer number 5, just turn on your cameras and I will start calling people and let